Jesus was born into a world where the power dynamics, they were set in stone. There wasn't room for voices that challenged societal norms or the power structures. He was born into an oppressive world. In approximately 63 BC, the Roman general Pompey, he invaded Judea, and with that conquest came Roman occupation, heavy taxes, and ruthless control. Jesus was also born into a world that had been colonized. In 329 BC, Alexander the Great swept into Judea, and as was the case everywhere that Alexander went, he forced a new language and a new culture on his subjects, eliminating theirs. So Jesus was born into a world with overwhelming vulnerabilities and insecurities. Sadly, Jesus' world looks a lot like our world, a world filled with power imbalances that lead to significant abuses of power. Friends, we've all been powerless. Jesus was born of a virgin in Bethlehem to an earthly set of parents that had no privilege, no wealth, and no political standing. The Apostle Paul said of Jesus that he gave up his divine privileges. He took on the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. Do you feel powerless? Maybe even helpless? We've all been in a position where we were powerless. As an infant, maybe, perhaps as an employee, and sometimes even as a partner or spouse. Many of the powers that be in Jesus' day and in our day loved power more than the power of love. Love was an inconvenience. Power, control, manipulation, that was just how you got things done. The ends always justified the means. Henry Nouwen asked the question, what makes temptation of power so irresistible? And he answers it this way. Maybe it's because power offers a shortcut to the hard task of love. It's easier to control people than to love people. Ever since the Garden of Eden, when the snake came to Adam and Eve and said, the day you eat of the tree, your eyes will be open and you'll be like gods, knowing good from evil, we've been tempted to replace love with power, tempted to choose power over love, control over the cross, or being a leader over being led. It is the love of power that leads to the abuse and misuse of power. This is why every leader needs to tend to their soul and prioritize love over power, health over results. We've all been powerless, and we've all suffered abuse of power. Some of you know well the power imbalances that exist in our world between men and women, between young and old, between white and black, white and Asian, between poor and rich, between the educated and the uneducated. History is littered with power imbalances. As Christians, our example, though, is Jesus, who used his power not to abuse, not to control people, but to stand in front of people and free people. That's your job if you're a follower of Jesus, and that's my job. We are to use our power and our influence not for our gain, but theirs.